Start writing today. Good day everyone, I am Bonsert of Radio Retro Future. I am a writer who just started. I published my first books the last year and I'm looking to make something of a career out of writing my series The Association of Ishtar. So when I'm making this video, I am not really the most qualified person to talk about this topic. However, I have been where you are, and as a creative, I know what it's like to get yourself out there, and I am very much still learning despite working on my own creative projects for over 10 years. The writing bit has been quite a recent venture. So, you are an aspiring writer. You are someone who wants to write stories, who maybe wants to write a book, maybe even write a whole trilogy, I don't know, a 10-book series. Wonderful. It's great to have ambitions, and well, we all dream of having such major projects. Of course we do. But there are a lot of things that writers, or rather people who want to write, are not fully aware of. And this video is going to be a little bit of a reality check of what you're in for if you're serious about writing. So this is not a video addressing people who just wants to, I don't know, write a single short story a year. No, this is for people who want to write books, who want to write multiple books, who want to write entire series and make it big as a writer. Those people who want to become the next W. Barton. Okay, so what are you really in for? First off, you're only a writer when you actually write. And why I say that is because the conversations I'm having with aspiring writers is about, oh, how do I make my characters good? How do I plot stories? How do I do this? How do I do that? This is something that we as experienced writers cannot help you with. You can only do that yourself. You have to write. Once you have written something, then we can help you improve your writing. You see, we can all come up with characters. Hell, I could spend an hour and come up with 10 different characters. It's a matter of practice. And that is the thing. Writing is practice. The only way to make your characters good, make them involving, make them likable, is by writing their stories. And here's the thing. I have written 2 full books. I've already nearly finished my 3rd one. I already started on 2 other ones that I hope to complete in the next couple of years. And I know people that when I started out writing my first book were already still working on the characters that they still have not finished. What you need to realize that you're not writing a book. You're not writing a single short story. You're not writing a single character. You are writing a project. Which means that after this story is done, it's gonna be the next. I know, you want to have like the best character. You want to make the next JoJo, the next anime hero that is hot at this moment. You know, the next All Might. You're gonna need practice. And you don't practice by coming up with all these ideas you want to put in one character. All these ideas you want to put in one stories. If you have multiple ideas, you can spread them out over multiple stories. Hell, write multiple stories about the same character and explore them with that. That's the thing that people, aspiring writers, do not realize. Coming up with characters, that is that's like, I don't know, just a few percent of what you'll be doing when you become a productive writer. And that's also a thing. You need to be productive. You cannot spend a year working on a character. You can come up with a character and work it out over a year, but in the meantime, you have to work on other stories, which means you cannot spend a year thinking about one short story or one book or hell, even a trilogy. You need to work on other stuff, even if it's just to come up with various other ideas. So it's a project. It's not one character, one story, or even one series. And there are the other elements that writers often do not talk about. Hell, I don't like to think about it. I've most successful artists that I know don't like to talk about it. But you got to put yourself out there. That means you need to be productive. Then you say, well, I want to fund my book with a Kickstarter. Well, you're not talking about one Kickstarter. You're talking about multiple Kickstarters. When you're working on your first Kickstarter, you're already thinking about your next one. The same goes for selling your book, because in the end you want to make your time back, you want to make your work back. If you buy illustrations like I do, you need to pay your artists, you need to pay your editor, you need to pay for marketing, and so on and so on. In other words, you also need to sell your books, and to do that you cannot go to a convention with just one book. Then you're just a guy, oh look, he has a book. It's not hard to write a book, folks. I mean, yes, it's an enormous time investment, and if you're one of the writers I just described who is thinking about a character for a couple of years before putting the first line to paper, yeah, you're just going to be the guy with one book. So you got to have multiple books. You're going to have multiple short stories. You're going to have multiple of everything. So when you come to a convention, people will see your table with multiple products. If you do it well, if you have a network, if you have friends, you sell their books as well. So people see a filled table which they can explore. So networking is also very important. Putting yourself out there is very important. If you are a wallflower, I don't know what to say. You're going to get over that, because no one is going to put yourself out there other than yourself. I mean, if you want people to support you, you gotta make it worth their while. If you're just a guy saying, oh, I'm gonna write a story one day, yeah, well, one day, that's there's people only have that long an attention span, especially compared to someone who does put out a book a year, or does put out several books a year. I mean, why is everyone talking about Stephen King? Well, he puts out a lot of books, so of course everyone keeps talking about him because he puts out new stuff. And the same goes for short stories, same goes for webcomics. Imagine having a webcomic and you only put out like a page every 2 months. No one is going to follow that. You know, people want to return every week and see new content. The same goes for your social media and for conventions and so on, workshops, whatever what you want to do, because people want to follow you. But you gotta do something, and just talking about something that you want to do, well, join the rest. Like most aspiring writers I talk about how they want to write stories. They're not giving me content that I can judge, you know. So instead of stop asking for validation, what a lot of aspiring writers do, hey, what do you think of this character idea? Hey, what do you think of this story idea? Write the story, then ask for validation, then ask for critique. Because as long as you don't write your stories, all your characters, all your plots are at best hypothetical. It's not about the plot, it's not about the characters, it's about the story, how you're writing, how your flow is, your choice of words, your prose. That's what people see, that's what people judge. You know, you can write on the back flap of your book, this is going to be the best story you ever read. But if what they read inside your book is terrible, that's how they're going to judge it. So, if you want to be a writer, if you are serious about writing, start writing today. Hell, start writing a line a day. Start writing 2 lines a day. Even if it's just 1,000 words a week, if you just spend 15 minutes a day actually writing. A lot of writers, they get their ideas not from spending like hours on the work table. No, they get their ideas from writing prompts. They get their ideas from writing short stories. Some of my favorite characters that I love writing for were originally short stories that I didn't think I would ever revisit again. But I started writing them, I started developing them, and now they are the main characters in my upcoming books. The same goes for my first book, which I just started writing with, well, the inspector arrives at the train station. That's it. And that is what you have to learn. So, you want to write? You want to be a writer? You're serious about writing? Start writing today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. Write today. and of course make it your way. Hello dear viewers, thank you for watching. I hope this was a motivational video. Now, if you have seen, there is gonna be a new Kickstarter somewhere early next year. If you want to have access to the early bird options, please subscribe to our mailing list on associationofishtar.com. Link is in the description. Long-term subscribers and those who subscribe in the next couple of weeks will receive something special from me. So see you there. Bye.